Live and leave alone. Here we go again, cancelling things that were acceptable back in the day but are seen by some in a negative light now. Last week it was Roald Dahl. This week it's Ian Fleming's turn. Ian was the creator and author of one of the greatest spies that ever lived. OK, no, he wasn't real. But every man I know wanted to be him, and nearly every woman I know would have been more than happy to be his love interest or his arch nemesis. It is, of course, the global sensation, James Bond. Ian Fleming Publications, which is the company that owns the rights, commissioned a review by sensitivity readers. Why, I hear you ask? Nobody's offended. If they don't like the books, they can just read another one. Some of the changes to Ian's books include in the 1954 Live and Let Die, Bond called African criminals pretty law-abiding chaps, I should have thought, except when they've drunk too much. This has now become pretty law-abiding chaps, I should have thought. Really? A scene in a strip club has been changed from Bond could hear the audience panting and grunting like pigs at the trough. He felt his own hands gripping the tablecloth, his mouth was dry, to Bond could sense the electric tension in the room. Really? The whole point of a book is to be descriptive so readers can paint a picture in their minds with your words, with their words. I'm not even offended by the use of language as racist in the books because that is what was written by the author and that was how society was at the time, a stark reminder as to how far we've come. After all, the books were written in the 50s. And once you start on this path, it's easy to get carried away, which is what I believe has happened here. In many instances in the books, they have dropped references to ethnicity altogether. Why? Well, in my view, the truth is this was about money and the stark reality that some of the language in the books would stop people from buying them. And I also think that they've seen the effect that the so-called clean-up had on Roald Dahl's books, and they thought they'd have a go as well. Even though it has been disclosed that Dahl, who died in 1990, had 40 years previously warned that he would not write another word if his publishers ever changed his language, and that he would send an enormous crocodile to gobble them up if they dared, which is a bit like me and my monologues. I mean, next thing you know, they'll be turning James Bond's character woke as well. I mean, why do they have to keep spoiling things? They went woke with Doctor Who on the BBC. Well, that was a disaster. People don't want an agenda pushed at them all the time. James Bond, in my eyes, is a worldwide phenomenon that was not taken in an offensive manner at the time by those it was now alleged to offend. Why can't they just gold finger off and just live and leave alone?